Well, the pressure has finally been mounted on OpenAI. They've finally cracked and are now starting to make a whole bunch of changes to their Sora 2 model in order to prevent these celebrity deepfakes from being made. This comes mostly after Bryan Cranston, of all people, the guy who stars as Walter White in Breaking Bad, went and approached the Actors Union SAG-AFTRA with his concerns about the Sora 2 model being used to put various people's likenesses in interesting scenarios. And OpenAI listened, and now they're starting to make a whole bunch of different changes and add a whole bunch of different guardrails to prevent this sort of issue. My name is Elijah Soul, and we're going to go ahead and cover it in today's video. Let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at this article by The Guardian. Bryan Cranston thanks OpenAI for cracking down on Sora 2 deepfakes. Now, I kind of covered some of this, not this specific article in this specific situation, but I kind of covered the prevalency of these AI deepfakes in a previous video, which I'll link to at the end of this video. And in that video, I kind of talked about how a lot of people were using the Sora 2 model to generate these videos of various celebrities doing things that they obviously wouldn't really be doing. Some of them dead, like, you know, there was a video of, like, Michael Jackson stealing somebody's KFC chicken and, you know, stuff like that. And it's just kind of weird. And obviously a lot of concern has been thrown around because of all of this for, kind of obvious reasons. Not many celebrities or, celebrities' estates would really want themselves to be portrayed in the ways that they're being portrayed right now. And furthermore, in that video, I also kind of talked about how there's a little bit of just a general risk to this technology in general, because right now it's just memes, but later on, is somebody going to use this to make a president say things that he never said or something like that, right? There's an obvious risk to this. But OpenAI is now starting to listen, and they're starting to implement a lot of guardrails. Now, here's the thing. OpenAI, since the launch of Sora 2, has already taken measures to block depictions of public figures. For example, a lot of politicians are already, completely blocked. You can't, make videos, at least not easily, of, like Donald Trump or, JFK or anybody, super popular, Obama. Now, these guardrails don't always work, but sometimes they do, and, they work pretty okay. But the issue is that it doesn't necessarily block everything. For example, like this article points out, there was a video where a synthetic Michael Jackson takes a selfie video with an image of Breaking Bad star Bryan Cranston, depicted right over here. This is an interesting photo, by the way, but whatever. Point being, the guardrails don't really work all that well. You can get it to do things quite easily without much issue. You just kind of have to keep trying. However, because of OpenAI getting absolutely pummeled by everybody, they went ahead and implemented a whole bunch of changes today, actually, at least as of recording, on Monday, for improving its guardrails and preventing users from, generating his likeness and, other people's likenesses. And this article kind of goes on to talk about how, OpenAI has an opt-in policy, and even then it doesn't really quite work well. A lot of actors have gotten angry. There is also a act being considered by Congress to address some of this stuff, namely banning the production and distribution of any AI-generated replica of any individual without their consent, which I am going to make a video on this act. It actually does seem quite interesting. OpenAI does publicly support the No Fakes Act, and, it's quite interesting. Now, one thing that this article does point out is that Sora 2 does allow users to generate historical figures defined broadly as anyone both famous and dead. However, OpenAI has recently agreed to allow representatives of recently deceased public figures to request that their likeness be blocked from Sora 2. And this actually is kind of a... That's probably a good call, just to be honest. Yeah, that's probably a good call. It's gotten weird. Some of these videos have been a bit much. Like, for example, there's a lot of videos of the late actor Robin Williams that are being generated. George Carlin, like it's getting to be a bit much. People are making AI generated videos of like so many popular figures, and obviously the estates and families of these people are starting to go ahead and say, whoa, stop. But like I pointed out in my previous video, I think this is a really, really good demonstration as to the fact that this technology is getting scarily good. Like, really, really fast, too. And it, like I kind of said in my previous video, we're just kind of opening Pandora's box ever so slowly. And it's not something we can ever really go back from. And I'm not saying this as like the world's gonna end and we're gonna have Skynet. No. We will adapt. But the thing is that this technology, this technological innovation is always going to stay with us forever. For as long as human civilization goes on, we are going to keep this innovation. As long as civilization goes on, we are going to keep this innovation, and we have to learn to deal with it. The issue is that what's going to end up happening, and this is just my theory, and some of it has already started to happen, is we're going to start having authority figures have AI-generated videos made of them without their permission, and stuff is going to go wrong. Stuff is going to go very, very wrong, and we're just going to have to learn kind of how to deal with it and how to sort the truth from lie, the real from fake. That's just gonna end up being the way it is. Now, this is definitely a step in the right direction on OpenAI's part. I will say I think the technology existing alone it has a bit of an implied risk to it. Now, that doesn't mean it shouldn't exist whatsoever. I mean, there's implied risk to using your computer right now to watch YouTube. It's possible, you could click a wrong link, get a virus on your computer, and then your life savings are drained out of your bank account. There's an implied risk to everything. Anything that lives dies. That's just kind of how the world works. There's always risk. But it's a matter of figuring out how to lower that risk to as minimal as possible. The issue is we don't fully know how to do that well yet, because this is, for what it's worth, a new technology that only really started getting popular in the 2020s. So we don't know how to handle it. We really don't. We didn't know how to handle it with computers when they started getting popular and the internet. We don't know how to handle it now. That's just kind of the way it is, and it's going to take a while to figure it all out. I do think we are going to see an uptick in AI-generated, deep fakes that are of, politicians, and we're going to start seeing some, this very heavy disinformation caused by this, either from, political opponents or foreign adversaries or whoever. It's going to be a problem, just unfortunately. But I do think we are kind of... I think OpenAI is going a little bit in a step to the right direction here. I do think their take on this is good. But I don't know. I guess we'll see with time how all of this technology, namely the AI video generation technology, fully pans out. I guess in time we will see. That is about it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, take care of you guys, and remember, as always, stay safe out there.